I got my battle gear on. I'm ready for the fight. I'm ready for whatever, any day or any night. I got my battle gear on. I'ma stay dirted up. I'm going to the end. We count to turn.
Hey, what's going on? Darnell Alexander here again. Another day, 2 days in a row. I went from 3 years ago setting up a page and doing nothing on it to 2 days in a row. Let's see if we can keep this going. Hey guys, I hope you're doing well out there today. My name again is Darnell Alexander, and my page is about transparent lifestyle and transparent living. I'll tell you a little bit about myself later. In the meantime, I just want to try to get back to this reason that we're raising grandbabies. Matter of fact, 6 grandbabies. And if you watch the first episode, I'm calling them episodes, though they are true to life. Nothing fabricated, nothing added to it, none of that. More so some taken away just for the sake of not completely embarrassing my family. More than anything, I spoke with my wife about this. So yesterday I did a 26-minute long introduction. I got to the point where my stepdaughter at 12 years old became a runaway for the first time. And I'm going to pick up here because yesterday the video was 26 minutes long with no intention on being that long. So today I'm hoping to suppress it a little bit and be more in the 10 to 15 minute pocket. And I'm just doing this, guys, because it's been therapy for me. When I notice when I talk about it, this is a long time. This is, matter of fact, 20 years in February to be exact from the time she's ran away. But 20 years in regards to that, we are raising all 6 of her children. She's practically never really raised these children. We have been saving them from the first one all the way to the 2-year-old up until this point. And everyone, she's never had a baby in her home, never got pregnant in her house. We're going to get along. We're going to get to that sometime down the line. But in the meantime, at 12 years old, it was a typical Friday. We lived again in South St. Louis, not the best neighborhood, not the best community. It's pretty raw over there. There's a lot of homicides, probably some of the highest in the city, a lot of crime. But we were getting in and prayerfully getting out. We just got locked in around that 2008, 2009 time frame when the housing market and all that started collapsing. So we're at this point now. We're already from 6 years old when I first entered into her life, starting to see that there's something going on with this young lady and this little girl at the time. But now this young lady is still having the same type issues. She's very, just being very manipulative, always lying. I've never seen anybody in my life lie as much, and that drove me crazy because that's one pet peeve that I really have is liars. And I'm not judging anybody. Of course, I've lied in my life, but I mean, just what do you call it? Constantly lying. I mean, a chronic liar, whatever you call it. It was a lot of lying, and it would be just over the top and for no reason. So at this particular time, we were just dealing with life, and we were, for a while when she was a little younger. We had a great prayer life. We stayed in church. They were active. The 2 girls were active. My 2 daughters. And I'm calling them my daughters. I'm so frustrated because a long time trying to be and play the role of their father, they never treated me at that age as a father. It was always a level of disrespect. I always would go to their mother about everything, even if I said something to them. So it was always just that layer until they got to a certain age, and then I became dad. I was dad by title, but I became dad by love after a while. So this is not all a sad story, but anyhow, 12 years old, it's a typical day. She's at school. Friday evening comes around. We're expecting the girls to come home. The younger daughter gets home, and there's no sign of the older. So we started to become a little concerned, more so than a little. And We contacted the school. They hadn't seen her after school. This school, it was just one of those hood schools. This is typical. The kids don't show up. They run away. They do all this. This community was probably known for that. And I don't know. I hadn't raised any kids like that at that point. I had, it was just one of those things that you just don't expect to happen. Well, 12 years old and not showing up after school in that community kind of concerned me. I mean, anywhere, but more so in that community. My wife was starting to see the worry on her face, and that was starting to kind of make me, a little more concerned. So we started looking for her. We went up to the school. We saw kids hanging. We asked them. They didn't know anything. I had to go to work that night, so I worked overnight. And I told my wife that if she wasn't back before I had to go to work, I would ride to canvass the neighborhood again looking for her, and which I did. And nobody seemed to know her, see her, or nothing, So I ran back past the house before I left to go to work, and I talked to my wife about it, and lo and behold, nothing. So at this point, the whole day went by. It was the next day in my life, and my wife, which my wife is my life. She was so upset and concerned and worried and stressed. I could just see it on her, and it was just boiling. I mean, we spent that entire weekend until Sunday looking for my daughter, and we didn't find her. So I told my wife after church, and we prayed up for her in the church, and that was the saving grace for so many people praying. That effectual fervent prayers of the righteous availeth much. That's what the Bible tells us. And we prayed, and we had a lot of people praying. And by now, I went from frustration to like totally feeling hopeless and helpless because I couldn't find my daughter. And I kept looking at my wife, and I couldn't do nothing watching her hurt. And it was like bringing us just to a level of defeat. But we knew that if we hadn't heard anything on the news, or, we were just tuning in to everything we could, that maybe there's a possibility she's just out there with some friends doing stupid stuff, and which ended up being the case. I told my wife, I said, hey, you know what, let's just be at the school Monday morning. I got a feeling she's going to be there. And lo and behold, when we pulled up, we parked and we watched all the kids in the front. And I told my wife, I said, babe, when we get there, when we find her, don't embrace her. Don't embrace her. Let her know that you're frustrated, you're mad. This shouldn't have never happened. I mean, if you have to slap the taste out her mouth. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I told you I'm transparent. I felt like that about it. Well, it was bringing up so much chaos to our house in that just short period of time. Well, we spotted her. And she was standing over there with a group of kids laughing and thinking it was just everything was hunky-dory and just A-okay and no issues. And we both walked up to her. And my wife ran up to her, embraced her like the prodigal son. I can only imagine, but embraced her, crying and thankful and happy and with gratitude. Now, deep down inside, I had the same type gratitude that I was happy she was alive, but I wanted to straight body slam her. So I just stood back and was like, are you serious? But it took me several years and growing up and realizing and being around this atmosphere with my wife, seeing that she's a nurturer. That's her daughter, her firstborn at that. And just to see how she embraced her, and knowing now that, the mother's love is just so unconditional with that level. And I understood it. It's like it took me years to understand that, because my thought was like, if you do that, she's going to keep doing it. But the reality was she's going to keep doing it anyhow. If that was in her to do, she was going to do it. We couldn't talk to her. We couldn't figure out, but we did find out where she was at. We confronted that mother, which was a single mother, single parent household. She was there, and the mother didn't make her call, didn't reach out. She just let her stay there. And it was with a little boy, and That was the first sign. I said, well, we might be in trouble with this right now. So lo and behold, she did all of that, ran away, spent the whole weekend gone, and it really had us in a frenzy. But thank God, because God was able to keep her in that time. And I'm just going to keep it 100, man. I was like so frustrated after the fact that every time I looked at her, I was just getting mad. But I was thankful that she was okay. The issue was she wasn't done. It was just the beginning. She went to school the rest of the week and the next weekend. Well, I said I was going to try to limit this to a time. I'm going to come back tomorrow or the day after, the next opportunity I get, to tell you what happened. I'm working my way up to something, guys, that prayerfully will help somebody, a step parent, now a grandparent, now a father or parents to runaway children. I'm going to break all this down. I'm just starting to get kind of acclimated to FaceTime in this camera and getting on YouTube, but this whole purpose is for somebody to be saved, somebody to have some insight on things that they might be going through with their children, stepchildren, grandbabies. However, this whole entire transparent lifestyle page is going to be in reference to where we are today. And like I told you before, we have a bigger picture for grands coming up, and it might be a couple of months. Please, if you know anybody that has kids, single parents, grandparents, direct them to this page. If you could subscribe, that'd be cool, because I'm going to start breaking this thing down and we're going to get into it. But 12 years old, we found her the first time, and something happened that following weekend that you won't believe, and maybe you will. But in the meantime and in between time, you guys have a great day. I might make this about 15, because I see I'm already at 12 minutes. I might make this about 15 minutes long, because this thing is so meaty and so much to it. Again, we are raising all six of her children, and have been for years. The first coming, and I'm going to tell you about it, at a very young age. But between that first runaway up to now, still being a runaway, I'm going to tell you something that you're going to know. And it's probably not too unfamiliar with you, because we're seeing this more and more day by day. The Bible said that in the last days, the love of many will wax cold. Their hearts will grow cold. They'll have itchy ears. They don't want to hear the truth. There's so much more to this, guys. If you could, come back and check it out. I'm going to just leave you with that and say, thank you for listening. It's getting things off my chest, because this is a long time I've been holding so much frustration in, and I'm going to get through all of that, but it's a brighter light at the end of this tunnel. God bless you. You guys have a great day. Hoping to get back at you sooner than later. Have a great day.